It was 1995. The small apartment smelled of old coffee and burnt-out ambition. A dim desk lamp flickered beside an ancient CRT monitor, its screen filled with endless lines of code. Elon Musk sat hunched over his keyboard. His fingers moved with the frantic energy of a man running out of time. He had barely slept in days. His company Zip2 was supposed to revolutionize how businesses advertised online, but right now, it was just a fragile dream, built on borrowed money and relentless work. His stomach growled. He glanced at the wrinkled dollar bills on his desk, barely enough for a cheap meal. With a sigh, he ignored it. Food could wait. His future couldn't. Tonight was crucial. In just a few hours, potential investors would see the first live demo of Zip2. This could be the breakthrough he needed. He clicked the final command, ready to test the system. And then, the screen froze. Elon's pulse quickened. He tried rebooting the system, but nothing responded. The server had crashed. Not now, he muttered, his voice shaking. His co-founder had gone home hours ago. There was no one to help. He was alone. He rushed to the data center, his heart pounding. The elevator ride felt like an eternity. Inside the server room, cold blue lights flickered eerily. He yanked open the access panel and stared at the tangled mess of wires. He had no IT team, no backup plan. Just himself, his bare hands, and his determination. As he worked, exhaustion clawed at him. His body begged for rest, but his mind refused. He hadn't come this far to fail now. The minutes turned into hours. His vision blurred, his fingers numb. He thought about quitting. Maybe his mother was right. Maybe he should have stayed in South Africa, taken a normal job, lived a normal life. But normal wasn't what he wanted. He wanted to change the world. He had to fix this. The clock struck 3 a.m. Elon wiped the sweat off his brow. The problem was deeper than he had thought. The software had hit a recursive error, an endless loop shutting down critical processes. His tired brain fought to keep up, scanning lines of code in the dim glow of the monitor. His hands trembled. His body screamed for rest. He forced himself to stand up, stretching his stiff legs. He walked to the window, looking out at the empty streets of Palo Alto. The city was asleep, but his mind couldn't afford to be. A sudden thought struck him, a solution. He hurried back to his desk, typing furiously. It was a long shot, but it was all he had left. At one point, his eyelids grew so heavy that he slumped against the chair, blinking rapidly to stay awake. The fluorescent lights in the office flickered, casting long shadows on the walls. He checked the time, 4:10 a.m. He had been troubleshooting for hours, and he was running out of time. He pulled out an old notebook, where he had sketched out potential fixes. Flipping through the worn-out pages, he found a handwritten note from months ago. If the system ever locks up, rewrite the execution path manually. His exhausted brain suddenly sparked with clarity. He began rewriting lines of code, his fingers shaking from fatigue. One mistake, and everything could collapse further. At 4:45 a.m., with a final desperate adjustment, the server roared back to life. Elon collapsed onto the floor, staring at the blinking lights. It worked. A tired smile crept onto his face. He had won this battle, not against technology, but against himself, against doubt, against exhaustion, against failure. He walked back to his desk, ignoring the stiffness in his legs. The test run completed successfully. Investors would see Zip2 later that morning. Before he could celebrate, another thought hit him. This was just one night. There would be more nights like this, more struggles, more failures. But this night had proved something to him. He could survive it. The exhaustion didn't matter. The hunger didn't matter. What mattered was that he had pushed through when everything told him to stop. Just as he was about to shut his laptop, a memory from his childhood surfaced. He had been a young boy, alone in his room in Pretoria, reading books late into the night while the rest of the house slept. Even back then he had known. Sleep was a luxury he couldn't afford. This was no different. This was what it meant to be great. As the sun rose, painting the city in gold, he knew. This was the moment that changed everything. The camera flashes. Elon Musk stands on a stage, a billionaire. the CEO of multiple groundbreaking companies. The audience listens as he speaks. There was a night, he says, when I almost gave up. I was cold, hungry, exhausted, and I thought, maybe I should quit. A pause. The room is silent, but I didn't. He looks up, his eyes reflecting the fire of a man who never stopped believing, and neither should you. The crowd erupts into applause, but Elon doesn't smile. Not really, because he knows this journey never really ends. There will always be another challenge, another sleepless night, and that's what makes it all worth it.